What's up? What's up? What is up? Even better. What it is, what it ain't. What it do, what it don't. What it will, what it won't. All of those things as we set up for another Friday and another opportunity to record the experience known as the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. We are in the building today. Another Friday as we quickly transition from winter to spring, as we quickly transition from February to March, as we quickly transition from Black History Month to International Women's Month. We are going to quickly get into some sports, business, and entertainment. If you did not know, now you know. The Ball Hawk Sports Talk is where businessmen get together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. We do it one way and one way only. That's rough, rugged, and raw. For those of you who are joining into the live recording, welcome, welcome, welcome. We promise, like every week, we're going to bring you some hot topics in a hot way. So no further ado, girls and boys, dogs and frogs, cats and rats, anything and everything in between, please fasten your seatbelt. Pour yourself a nice tall mug of coffee. Get comfortable because sports, business, and entertainment is coming near you. It is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. So let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And stay woke, because this is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, so come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go. Once again, it's on. Once again, it's on. I get the distinction of being in front of this microphone and having a good old grand time discussing sports, business, and entertainment with someone who I enjoy doing this with on a weekly basis. He is the man, the myth, legend. Thou shalt be intergalactically known and respected as. When you say it with your chest. Make sure you comfort the diaphragm because he guarantees to meet disrespect with certain forces of objection. He is the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
I don't ever meet disrespect. Y'all know.
See how I did that? It wasn't a threat. See how I cleaned that up?
Everybody knows better than that. No, what's good, man? Just happy to get another Friday in. Happy to, the optimism you bring with saying we're quickly approaching spring. That would be nice.
Yeah, man, we got spring coming, baby.
I mean, spring is always coming, depending on what time of year it is. But we're in the 30s still. I don't complain above 20, so no complaints from me today. Next week, I heard something about 60-something degrees. Watch your mouth. If you smell the barbecue, that's me. So we're ready to go.
Good to hear that you have been remaining optimistic as well, especially in that windy city. We gonna get windy today, bro, because I am one of those people that you know what they say, keep that same energy. I watched this week. For those who have never been a part of this experience, I'll sort of explain how we really get into the titles of the episodes. But I watched this week as our current president, Donald Trump, in his first address, the joint address to the Congress. I watched this week a situation where Representative Al Green out of Texas gets escorted out of the chamber. He's been censored. And I'm watching it, and I'm just I don't care what your political and ideological beliefs are. I'm watching it and I can't get over the fact that our political system feels a lot like the Bloods and the Crips. East Coast, West Coast, Tupac, Biggie. It's just really no middle ground right now. And I started thinking of the economics behind it and the fact that in your basic economics class, they teach you about duopolies. Hence, today's title is going by the title, Let's Play Duopoly. Now, I'm sure all of us have played Monopoly. At Notre Dame, there's not a lot to do. There's not a whole bunch of clubs and scenes like that. So we would play Monopoly to the wee hours in my day which was after your day because you're older than me. I don't know if y'all played Monopoly.
When I was in school, Monopoly hadn't come out yet.
Well,
fuck you.
When you were in college, I don't know if Monopoly existed as a game.
It didn't come out yet.
As a
board games weren't invented till after.
They're not invented yet. I thought so. But luckily, things had changed when I got to Notre Dame, and we were playing Monopoly to the wee hours, to the wee hours of the night. We would play Monopoly. And so what I realized in playing those games is, while we all very competitive, it was our first, for me and a lot of people, it was our first interaction with the word monopoly. While associated with the game, fast forward, now I'm an attorney. I understand antitrust law. I understand why you would try to prevent against a monopoly for competitive reasons. And as a consumer and as a customer, you don't want a monopoly because of price. I then in business school learned about this thing called a duopoly. And the duopoly, and I'm giving a background just so you understand where we're going with this today. A duopoly is a situation where two companies together essentially own all or nearly all of the market for a given product or service. I think back to the days of Burger King and McDonald's before Chick-fil-A and all of that was on the scene. That was a duopoly.
Yeah, kind of.
You had, because you do have small mom and pop shop, but just the market share nationally was McDonald's and Burger King. I think now ride shares, you got either Lyft or you got Uber. All right. And the duopoly is a form of an oligopoly, which is,
I'm not really up on my opolis. Is that a class that you took in?
Yeah, the opolis is what you take. The class you take in B school. But this particular form of oligopoly is called a duopoly because the two companies. All right. Now I know that's a little wonky, it's in the weeds, but it'll make sense. Now the challenges with a duopoly are very similar to a monopoly because while there is more than one company, there's two, and they tend to compete against one another, which reduces the chance of a monopolistic power. The truth of the matter is the two companies tend to sort of work together. While they compete, they sort of cooperate, and they have complete control over pricing. Having said that, now let's get into sports business entertainment.
You're not going to break down triopoly or quadrupoly?
I ain't going that far. We're just going with the duopoly. We're done? Okay. We're going with the two.
Okay.
There was last night a mic drop like none other that we are going to listen to and have fun with because I think it bodes well for how we like to do things. We do it rough, rugged, and raw. Last night in a particular setting, it was rough, rugged, and raw. So with no further ado, let's make sure that we share that and listen in as the great philosopher, Charles Barkley, drops a mic. And I mean a mic drop. Let me go to it and we will hop in with this.
What does she say? Oh.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA?
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about?
Kendrick Perkins.
Oh.
He said the Lakers, first of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that.
Hey,
man.
I'm
stealing that one.
The Lakers are doing great. Got a long way to go. But the reason the season's been going great for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all just want to talk about the Warriors and the Lakers. They're both doing great. Don't get me wrong. If I turn out to be wrong, I got no problem with that. But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Y'all don't. The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 12 straight games. The Oklahoma City got the MVP, and they are on fire. Y'all are talking about who's in second place. That's the reason I get pissed. Hey, the Lakers are doing great. I don't mind being wrong. The Warriors are doing great. But that's because you fools on other networks, which we gonna become fools next year. We be working on that network. But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months. Y'all talking about teams that had two great weeks.
Time out. I get what you're saying. You just went at the whole network.
They talk about the same
whole
stuff.
industry.
Whole industry. They talk about the same stuff every single day.
I would have to, but there's
Is there some credit? Is there some credit to be handed out here?
Yes. But don't say basketball's only watching now. First of all, between that and this lame ass LeBron Michael Jordan debate, which is lame. I've said.
All right, there we go. That's about as far as I want to take it. But I think he set up a perfect opportunity for us to have this show about a duopoly. First, in the beginning, he essentially calls out Kendrick Perkins, but he refers to the other network. So in itself, there are two basic operations or options when we want to watch NBA basketball. You're going to watch TNT or some form of ESPN/ABC. So in itself, it's a duopoly in terms of how we consume our basketball. But then what Charles was taking issue with and starts off with, it's worth actually going back to how he starts off, because I want to make sure I get it right. I don't want to misquote it. So I want to make sure I get it right. He starts off with, if I can pull it up, because my computer is tripping. He starts off with, like literally starts off with, don't get no better than this, a very aggressive stance. So let me maybe bring it back.
Little name calling. You talking about the name calling?
I mean, whatever he said, we gonna listen to it. I want to quote him. I want to make sure I quote him. When he starts up, that just
ended the whole thing.
But what he starts off with, some idiot fool, is how he starts off with it, and that aggression then translates to his point. The idiot fool he's talking about is Kendrick Perkins. But as he's describing that the network only wants to discuss the Lakers and the Celtics, as he's talking about that, he's setting up the background and the foundation of our title, a duopoly. I don't know if you agree with him or not, but if you look at it, he talks about the teams that are not being discussed. He says, you fools want to talk about second place. In the East, second place is the Celtics. In the West, second place is now the Lakers. Does Charles Barkley, although he was very colorful in how he addressed Kendrick Perkins, does he have a point that the way we consume it, the way the media forces it down our throat in terms of how we digest it, sports, but in this case basketball, does he have a point with oversimplifying it and making it about just the Lakers and the Celtics?
I think you had to, just kind of look at the business of entertainment, right? And the business of sports and the business of news and the business of whatever. You want eyeballs, right? You want ears. You want to appeal to the masses and figure out the best way to go about it. So it's headline news. What's big in the headlines? What's grabbing people right now? If you're a basketball aficionado, if you're an NBA fan, a true NBA fan, it takes a lot for you not to pay attention. Like, if that's what you do. I like watching the NBA all day long. That's what you do. I'm a basketball fan. I would say that I'm a basketball fan light when it comes to the way I follow it, because there's too many games for me.
So you're the casual fan that they're talking about.
I am the casual fan that they're talking about, right? I would say, and I should say I'm above average when it comes to just sports.
You're above average when
it comes to sports and all the kind of stuff, like, sports and my knowledge of sports. But I still categorize as this. Now, come playoff time, I'm going to have full opinions and I'm going to watch it, because now it's going to get real sexy to me. Come playoff race to find out who's going to be in the play-in. That's when I play catch up. I was a test crammer. I was the kind of guy that studied on Sunday night, right? I wasn't. My son's not watching, but and my daughter, I was. The build up during the week wasn't me. I was the guy who worked the night before. But then I got into that test like nobody else. So
Man,
anyway.
you were a gamer. That's Ball Hall Sports Talk. You like the pressure of delivering. That's what that is. But go ahead, I digress.
Yeah. So yeah, we digress. Anyway, so at the end of the day, I try to get involved and do whatever. I think what I didn't hear what Kendrick Perkins said. I've only heard the rebuttal that
Kendrick Perkins took more issue with, and I can say why. Kendrick Perkins. Thank you, Mark, for tuning in.
But
and
see, Mark is a true basketball fan.
Yeah, we're going to address his comment, but I want to let you finish. Kendrick Perkins, in his response, I think took more issue with the way in which he was described. And so just for make sure everybody remembers how he was described, I'm gonna replay it again, just for point of emphasis. This is how he was described by Charles.
What are you searching that your ads are? Forget it.
Man, I don't know. It gotta be. Jeez. My business.
Your algorithm keeps showing.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA.
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about? There's a lot of
Kendrick
fools out
Perkins.
there.
So
I
here's
think
the
that's
problem.
what he took issue with, which you
And
can
he
understand.
should. But let's get
And
into
so
the whole.
his tweets were more about how he was called an idiot and a fool, and then Barkley went on to clown him for only averaging 5 points a game. So it was personal in his response on Twitter. They don't call it Twitter anymore. X, whatever it is. So that was Twitter.
My point. The name calling portion obviously is going to become a rap beef before this is all over. So I don't care about that. I'm gonna go on the merits of what he was saying. Is that to say that LeBron James saved the NBA?
He said the Lakers. They said the Lakers, not
Lakers.
LeBron. We're gonna get to LeBron specifically, but the Lakers.
They said the Lakers have saved the NBA. I find that there's a lot of merit in that statement.
Save the NBA for this season. You believe that?
So it's not whether I agree or not to say there's merit in the statement, and it's definitely not an idiot statement. My point is this: I'm kind of in the background on basketball. I found out the other day by accident that the Cleveland was a killer. Right? I haven't been paying attention to this win streak.
They won 12 straight,
and then I watched them beat the Celtics. I think my brother brought it to my attention that Cleveland was killing, so I started to pay attention. I keep hearing everybody talking about SGA. Keep posts on internet.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, balling.
I keep seeing stuff. I'll be honest, wasn't very familiar with this game. Put some time in, started watching. I'm like, man. But the bottom line is, as much of a killer as he is, as much of a great story as it is that Cleveland is stepping up, nobody really cares. But you know what they do care about? They do care about the fact that this Luka LeBron thing is interesting. The sport is more interesting when LeBron, Giannis, the Joker, Steph, when they're doing well, like that's when you get, those are the superstars. Hold on, before you break me off. Those are the superstars in the league that make people pay attention and give notice. The best thing I said last year about the playoffs was that how are we having such a great and entertaining playoffs and we don't have LeBron or Steph involved? And we still had, that was the biggest compliment to the league forever. Your main stars, your main faces are not here, and it was an unbelievable playoffs.
And
so
we were saying that the NBA took a step forward at that point. Because
at that point, but at this point in the league, at this point of the season, ratings are down. True or false? Ratings are down?
Ratings are definitely down.
Ratings are definitely down. But now here comes LeBron. Here comes, I mean, what a great duo. You've got the king who's passed the torch off to the next potential king. They're playing and it's working. I mean, meanwhile, Dallas is over here. Poor Dallas. AD lasted 3 quarters, and now Kyrie's out for the rest of the season. They might as well just shut the season down and sit there and play for Cooper Kupp because they're done. Which might, if they get Cooper Kupp, that trade, but we'll talk about that later. But at the end of the day, they're done. They're trash. And this is the story. That does save the NBA. More people will be watching. The ratings will go up. LeBron is number 2. They're in the second place at age 57 years old. They're the number 2 seed there. and you've got something new going on, it's the Lakers. People want the Lakers to be doing well. When the Lakers aren't doing well, the Knicks have given us nothing for years. But it used to be the Lakers, Knicks, Boston, Chicago. You want to see them do well. When they're not, it's not doing as well. So there's a lot of merit. We should all pause for my credibility check right here. But I was a killer in 3-on-3 at the bar leagues when half
Mark, the check is in the mail, Mark, for you making that statement.
He witnessed it.
I know you paid him to say that.
He said, but you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of merit to say that, because the true basketball fan is watching anyway. But the ratings are down because the casual fan is not interested and doesn't know who SJA is, and they don't care that Cleveland is good.
If that's the case, if indeed that is the case, then we're in trouble as a basketball community, because the truth of the matter is that the stars are playing well, and it just happens to be other stars. SGA is probably going to win the MVP. If it's sort of like, does art imitate life? Does life imitate art? If as fans we keep being so unsophisticated that we won't tune in unless there is a duopoly that we approve, like Lakers and Celtics. You're right. Let's not say you and I. Let's go. Kendrick is right. People want to hear about LeBron and the Lakers and Luka ad nauseum. Charles Barkley is right that how can you be so unsophisticated to want to hear only about those players and say that they saved the NBA when we've had some phenomenal basketball in cities that aren't LA, Boston, New York, Miami. We've had phenomenal basketball coming out of Cleveland. They won 12 straight games. We have some phenomenal basketball coming out of OKC. And so if indeed that's how we're going to be as a fan base and consumers of basketball, then we're going to get exactly what we're asking for, and people will ask to be shipped out of cities like OKC. OKC had 3.
You just named the reality of life, but go ahead.
And if we continue doing it, right, we complained that Kevin Durant wanted. We as a basketball community, as fans, he took the punk way out. He should have stayed with his team. We're giving evidence of why you would want to leave if FGA is having an MVP candidate year. Oh, not even candidate. He's the MVP if it ended today. And we still we got this desire, this appetite to still talk about LeBron. Yeah. And LeBron's an amazing thing at 40. He's not playing near the level of SGA right now. It's not even close. And if we say that we want that we have that appetite, that we're fiending for this again, it's a duopoly. We want to talk about the Lakers and the Celtics because we're still stuck in 1980, whatever. And we want to talk about these things that are just more appealing. But at the end of the day, and this is where Barkley was coming, I think where Barkley was coming from is that it's a very lazy journalistic approach. If all we're going to do is force feed the audience to talk about LeBron and the Lakers, and LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers, and maybe I should change the order, Luka, LeBron, and the Lakers, while they are second. They're second by like 7.5, 8 games. I think Cleveland is ahead by even more games over Boston. And yet when you turn on the worldwide leader versus TNT with that duopoly, I think Charles Barkley, while the name calling might have been much, but that's how he does it, I think he's got a point.
Does Perk have a point?
Does Perk have a point that the Lakers saved the season? Yes, he has a point, right? But if he saved the season, that's my point. If that's the knight in shining armor, that the Lakers and LeBron plus Luka saved the season because it's just a little more appealing. Mm-hmm. Our appetite has been yearning to talk about LeBron and the Lakers. Then I think we got to do a better job of getting the general audience up to speed on this is good basketball, even if it's coming from OKC.
You can't force diehardness, right? You can't force that, right? You can't force want to. What you can do is pique interest, right? And now we've had a fantastic trade with Luka and LeBron in the same place that people want to go see how it works. Imagine if Luka and LeBron play OKC coming up, right? picture me this. They have I don't even know when they play them, if they play them, but if they have a game coming up on a nice time slot, and now all the people are going to tune in to watch who? Luka and LeBron. Guess who's going to also be there? SJA. What happens at that point? Wow.
Yeah, the ratings go up. But what happens when they don't
now,
play each other?
and now you might have messed around and caught your couple at new SJA. Who is this guy? Who is this guy?
Man, you messed up his name and everything. The Gilchrist part is the G. SGA.
SGA. See, that's some problem. And I like sports. I'm not the guy they're thinking about. And I'm messing him up because I'm just now paying attention to him. So my point is, SGA, you get to watch the game, you get to ball, you're like, wow. Just like, my man in Memphis. What's his name?
I don't. What are you saying?
Just picture me grabbing the ball and dunking on somebody's face and being in Memphis.
Oh, John Morant.
John Morant, right? John Morant didn't pull people by himself until he probably played against somebody who was with the stars, and you saw what he could do. And now suddenly, until John Morant decided he was an idiot, he was a chance to be the next face.
Do you think that's possible, right? Because even when we talk about duopoly or Lakers Celtics, is the point that Charles Barkley and Kendrick Perkins are now going back and forth on. But when the thought of duopoly also is like that question of who's going to be the face of the league, right? Ant Edwards has been discussed, and LeBron talked about who would want to be the face of the league when all they do is ridicule everybody. I would argue that anybody would want to be the face of the league, but Ant Edwards needs an antithesis. There has to be a good cop, bad cop, and so I don't know where that comes from. I think Jason Tatum is a lot of things, but he's not the face of the league. And so when you think of the face of the league, you think of a SGA, you think of an Ant Edwards, you think of a Ja Morant. I think it does have a lot to do with this yearning to just discuss what is simple to discuss. It's very easy to want the Lakers and the Celtics to advance to the finals because the rating is going to be off the charts, right? But then are we essentially dumbing down this game? And that's what Charles Barkley was saying. ESPN is dumbing down this game. That's a beautiful – SGA is playing out of his mind right now. So if we're going to dumb down the game and only talk about LeBron and Luka and the Lakers and only talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the Celtics, then we are going to continue to be susceptible to the ratings being down when those teams aren't playing well. Or are we going to force the fan base to be a little more sophisticated and appreciate that good basketball is happening, even if it is happening in a city as small as Cleveland, in a city that is remote and undesirable as OKC? It's still good basketball.
So you felt comfortable talking about Cleveland with no adjectives, and then you shit on Oklahoma City as if Cleveland's better than OKC? That's what we're doing?
I'm a Browns fan, brother. I got to do that.
I just wanted to make sure you had a lot of energy for OKC's description.
I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so I got to do that.
Okay. I get you. You can drink the water. I bet you their lakes are usable. But I digress. Okay, so there's a new league come out, and I'll just slightly transition here, called the TGL, Tomorrow's Golf League. Are you familiar with it?
Very, very vague in my familiarity, but I've heard of it.
Tiger Woods and Roy McIlroy started. It started on January 7th. They play at the SoFi Center in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It's a combination. There's 24 PGA players and 6 teams, and it's a combination between golf simulator, and then at the end when you get to like the green, they have like a green with a sand trap and do whatever. And they have a studio
primetime slots. They got good
primetime slots. Yep. And they have this audience. They kind of take things a little bit. You get to see their personalities a little bit better because it's not as stuffy as the PGA or
Top Golf meets the Masters.
Yeah, meets Masters. When people are watching, they like to see it. I watched the program for the first time the other day, and Tiger Woods got beat. Worst thing that ever happened to the league. Now I don't want to watch no more. I'm not interested. Right? And it caught me when I was watching it. It wasn't just Tiger shots that were good. I didn't know who the hell was on his team, and I didn't know who they were playing. Don't start. You're too quick to discredit. So just stop with the deep inhales. I don't need all that. So I'm just saying, Tiger's out of it. So am I. Me too. I'm done. And that's my point. It's a
and look,
fledgling league that's coming out. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Caitlin Clark effect. Everyone wants to hate on Caitlin Clark, take her out the league, and their league is a failing league losing money. So Kendrick Perkins is just stating the obvious state of America and how we are and how we are. You cannot make money on just the diehards. They already charge too much money, right? And if you only have diehards in there, there's just not enough to go around. You have to get people to buy. If you're a rapper, you have to get suburban kids to buy your album. You can't just make songs for the inner city. What did Biggie say? You got to make a couple radio joints. You can't just have it for the diehard rap guys, because if it doesn't make the radio, there's not enough people. You need more people.
I guess.
I'm done quoting people.
One would argue that Kendrick Lamar has challenged that. But I would also argue that if we continue following down that rabbit hole, what we're going to do is be susceptible to an unsophisticated, almost temperamental fan base. Mm-hmm. That it doesn't like I like that you bring up golf, but look at the numbers of golf when Tiger was playing and people were only watching for Tiger. And then we had the infamous, 7-iron incident with his wife. Look at how the numbers went down.
Piece gate. Yeah.
Look at what the numbers did for Nike and how the sales went down. And I think that's what Charles Barkley is saying. I see my man Scott Bibb. You threw a jab at me too. I ain't put that jab up, but he makes a good point in terms of Jimmy Bucket.
Before you finish that though, imagine if Tiger were to win a major this year, what it would do for golf?
Yes, but
and Perk
two
would
sides
say,
of that coin.
And Perk would say he saved golf, and he would be right.
Yeah, but
you could say, well, Roy McIlroy's having a great season. Well, Phil Mickelson's having a great. I got to name old people because I don't even know the golfers having a great season. No one gives a shit. If Tiger Woods won a majors, it would give golf 2 years of money, 2 years of popularity.
I agree with you.
This 2 weeks is way more important than whatever the hell has happened in Cleveland or this beautiful city of OK City that you talk so much. The last 2 weeks of basketball, Curry doing that behind the Mac end of the first quarter shot was the biggest thing in basketball last night.
But does that mean? But I still agree with Charles in the sense that while that's true, and I guess it's the chicken and the egg, I would say it's only true because we're being force-fed to always discuss LeBron and the Lakers. We're being force-fed to always discuss Steph Curry. And while, yes, Jimmy Bucket's trade did do wonders for Steph Curry and Golden State, they are officially out of the play-in. They're in the 6th spot. Charles Barkley has a point.
He has a point. He started it off bad.
He started off bad by name calling, but that's just what Charles Barkley does.
Like the statement was idiotic, and it wasn't. When we were in Notre Dame, we used to call it up, and for those who didn't play sports, at the end of the thing, you come together. I guess it's sports version of cheers. You call it up, right? Everybody gets together, unify. Sometimes do it before practice and at the end. And one of the chants that somebody used to always say was, give the people what they want. And I never understood what the hell half the thing we were saying. I was young. No one ever explains it to you. But what I realized when they say give the people what they want is that was an acknowledgement that at Notre Dame, we were a big deal and we were the media there. So give the people what they want. What do they want to see? Good football. They want to see us win. They want to do whatever. So give the people what they want. The mantra was something that was repeated over and over again. And as I got through life, I understood it. I understood that people want to hear, when I talk about Notre Dame, they want to hear what Coach Holtz was about, and they want to hear a juicy story. Give the people what they want. That's what they're doing. And right now, ESPN is giving the people what they want. The people want to hear about LeBron.
But what Charles is saying, especially to a former NBA player, yeah, you're giving the people what they want, but you have an obligation to also expand what they want. There's good basketball being played that is outside of Golden State and LA.
And this
duopoly concept in the West is everything has to be about the Lakers or Golden State, right? San Fran, LA. And the East, everything's got to be about Boston or the Knicks. Miami is fluttering a little bit this year, right? And if we're going to keep discussing, while the Knicks is a good team, Jalen Brunson, I see my man Scott Bibb talking about keep the Knicks out your mouth proudly, happily, because I don't think that they're really a contender. The only reason we're talking about the Knicks is because this concept of duopoly. In the Eastern Conference, it has to be these two juggernauts that we talk about all the time, right? Madison Square Garden sells out all the time. And what are they putting out on the floor? Right? Last year is a pretty good team. This year is a better than pretty good team. But they're not putting winners out there, yet they're selling out. Why? Because it is the chicken and the egg. This is life imitate art. This art imitate life. Everybody wants to go to Madison Square Garden. And Dolan has no real reason. He has no obligation to put a better product out there because people are going to support it anyway. Same thing with the Lakers. Same thing with Golden State. At this point, if ESPN and the talking heads like Kendrick Perkins keep on bringing up randomly out of nowhere, it's like, the movie. Every time we start talking about boxing, somebody got to bring up Rocky Marjan. That's how it is. Every time we talk about basketball, somebody got to randomly bring up LeBron. And the truth of the matter is, you're right. If Tiger, to skip back to the golf analogy, if Tiger was to win a major, it would go crazy. But there's two sides to that coin. And it shouldn't be that binary. What if he doesn't? We're going to rest all of our interest and viewership on the possibility that Tiger Woods could go win another major. That's what we're doing with LeBron. Now, LeBron is playing phenomenal, so I'm not going to be sacrilegious. The man is doing things at 40 that someone could only hope to do. But there is one undefeated person in sports, and it's Father Time. So we're going to rest all of our basketball interests, all of our viewership, all of our discussion, or not all, that's a little hyperbole, but the lion's share of it, the majority of it is going to be spent talking about somebody that's 40 years old, that's playing on a team that has been revived with Luka. At the same time, there's SGA having an MVP season in the West. That's why I say Charles Barkley has a point. And the duopoly concept, whether it be the Eastern Conference talking about the Celtics and the Knicks, whether it be the Western Conference talking about Golden State and LA, whether it be talking about basketball, and now we're talking about two seeds. The idea of LA playing the Celtics is like this dream come true for Adam Silver and the general unsophisticated fan base, while we are discrediting Cleveland having 12 straight wins. We're discrediting SGA and OKC having an MVP year. That to me, long term, is you're undermining your prospects of what a fan base can be if that's what we keep doing.
What is sports ultimately?
Entertainment.
What is sports? Entertainment, right?
Sports business and entertainment.
You can't
it's
force
the
me
ball,
to like
talk,
musicals.
baby.
I don't give a shit what lineup. You can't force me to like musicals. It's not my shit. I don't like it. You can't force me to think.
Uncultured. You just uncultured.
Just uncultured. I bite my nails. Uncultured. My feet are ashy. I mean, what do you want? I'm a lineman, right? That's who I am. You can't force me to do it. But if somebody somehow, some way could mix Hooters or something with the musical, I might could go to one and see what it's on.
For those who didn't see that live, he had to check to make sure his wife was not in earshot.
She is, but that's okay. She's been married to me long enough. She understands my point. This is all entertainment. So my point is, you have to go give the people what they want. This is what they want to hear. There is a job. There's a job that, and that was good for, what? We played the clip of what he had to say because he got so animated. People like to see animated. People like to see beefs. And they like to go back and forth. And the attack made it a little bit more. But he's going to be on the network and he's going to give people what they want, or he's going to be at the house.
There.
Right?
You got a point there. My man Hot, what up, Hot? He said include Notre Dame on that list. And you're right. You said people want to see us win. Give the people what they want. The truth of the matter is just as many people, if not more, want to see us lose. And so you are giving the people what they want. That's why the NBC contract is just a very good contract for both parties. Notre Dame, because they get the viewership and they got the power of the pen in negotiating the terms. But NBC, because they're giving the people what they want. There were a lot of people that were happy when we lost to, what was that team? Northern Illinois. And there are a lot of people sad. But the thing that is undeniable is there were a lot of people tuned in.
A lot
Whether
of people
you want to see us
shit.
win or lose, they were tuned in. So I guess we're sort of saying the same thing, but that's the concept of the duopoly. And until you force the audience by way of slowly integrating more teams, slowly making the main topic the Cleveland Cavs and a 12-game winning streak versus taking the easy route and always talking about the Celtics in the East. And I think that and the duopoly on the teams. If you think about it, the concept of Luka and LeBron together makes that team even worth more to discuss. The concept of the big three was a good concept, but even for my big three, which for me, the Miami Heat fan, to me, it was always a duopoly plus one. It was LeBron, D-Wade, and then, we got Bosh too. No disrespect to Bosh because he's a phenomenal player, Hall of Famer. I love Bosh. But that's just the way we discuss it. And so I think both Charles Barkley has a point. Kendrick Perkins, if indeed he's guilty of what he's been accused of by Charles Barkley, has a point because he is doing what you said, giving the people what they want.
What's so unfair, though, this is funny, but it's so unfair. It's like, no matter what you have to say, no matter how profound it is, you have stats out there for us to look at. At the end of that show, what you guys did here is he started talking about, what did he average? 5 points a game?
Yeah.
That's so dirty.
That's probably why I didn't play that part. I didn't play all the personal part. He said, but he was the glue of the team, though. He clowned him.
That's so dirty. Okay. He can never go back and score more points, but so therefore he can't say anything about basketball on TV.
I mean, and then they played the same position, right? Well, Shaq. But Barkley was at least he was in the front court, so they both were in the front court. I mean, what are you going to say to Charles Barkley? What tough can you say basketball? So I think he started talking about where he's from. If you read the tweets, on site, I want the smoke. So now you're going to fight a 60-something-year-old man. I mean, you lose. It's just, it's no way to win that.
Perk, though. Perk, fight Perk.
Perk looked like he don't look like he
you win, balance. Perk will whoop Charles Barkley.
I don't know, man. He'll look like he had balance to me. Let's go quickly, man, because there's some other duopolies I wanted to get to before we get out of here for the day. For those tuning in, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. We thank you for viewing the live audience. For any of the students, you know what to do. For those sports finance students, make sure that you comment. But I'll talk about this other duopoly because post NFL Combine, Sports Illustrated now has a new mock draft, and the number 1 and number 2 picks are Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward, number 2, Cleveland Browns, Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, I know that's not good. Oh, my stomach hurt for him.
But stop.
There's no way that's happening, by the way.
No, I'm not doing that. You're not going to get me to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not doing it. I'm just talking about the Sports Illustrated mock draft and the duopoly that now has become between those two, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Again,
imagine what Dion is calling the writer of that mock draft. The names that Perk was called was nothing compared to this.
Dion's not going to let Shedeur go into Cleveland by any stretch of the imagination. He won't do it. But this duopoly is it much to do about nothing. They seem to like each other. They seem to be friends. But the way we talk about them is like if we say something positive about one, we got to say something negative about the other. Do you think this particular duopoly, those two, is going to be good for the NFL? Quickly, lightning round. What say you? Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, if those are the 1 and 2 picks.
I think Cam Ward is showing his personality a lot. I like that they've been releasing these films of them working out together. I really wasn't that familiar with Cam Ward's personality. Sanders is a Sanders. He's his daddy's son. He has a personality that's pretty big, and I think it would be wasted in Cleveland. I hate to say that, but it would be wasted in Cleveland. I think he's a big market guy because he's going to be the face of his team. I think he's going to do a really good job with that. But I think Cam Ward as well, he's going to do it together. I would love to see that become a rivalry in sports to come out. I do think they both have the talent to do it. I mean, if you're getting picked in the top 10 picks, you're going to a bad place unless you get lucky enough that someone just had an off year because of a weird injury or something like that. I think they're both going to be good. I do think, and I think you would agree with this if it wasn't being recorded, that it would be a waste for him to go to Cleveland. A waste. It would be.
You couldn't be any more wrong. Hook me up to the polygraph. I would pass that with flying colors. Ain't no waste when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, but I get what you're saying. I understand why Coach Prime would think.
Who has the third pick?
The third pick is.
Can we do top 10 picks real quick?
Top 10 picks. You got Tennessee 1, Cleveland 2. You got the Giants at 3. They got in this mock draft them taking Travis Hunter. You got New England Patriots in this mock draft taking Abdul Carter, who, because of the injury, was not able to compete at the Combine. who in our previous mock draft was projected number 1. He's now projected number 4. Number 5, you got Jacksonville. They got them taking a D tackle from Michigan. You got the Raiders at 6, Jets at 7, Carolina at 8, New Orleans at 9, Chicago. What is that? What are they? The Bears? What's the Chicago?
Does Chicago have a franchise? Fuck you. I like the Raiders. I like the Raiders for Shedeur. Who's right before the Bears?
Right before the Bears, you have New Orleans. Probably not going to happen.
No, they just got a quarterback, right?
There's been discussions about the Rams trying to negotiate their way and trade their way into that top 12.
You're a quarterback. You want to go in the back half of the first round. Money aside, you're still going to be rich. You want to go in the back half of the first round.
Fair.
That means you got a partially good team going, whatever. But I think the Raiders would be a good place for him just because it's Vegas, and I think he could, he's a big show guy. He could do whatever. I don't like any of those other top 10 picks for either of them. New York Giants. I'm not a huge New York guy. I think this big market, whatever, but it's just they've been such a buzz. They're such a poorly run organization. I don't wish that on anybody. So we'll see.
We shall see. I'm gonna keep putting the comments up. There was somebody that my man Scott said Tiger's son could beat him now. And I did like Hawk's comment that said, women's tennis is, in terms of viewership, has been completely supplanted because Serena is done. Give the people what they want. Very fair. In terms of giving the people what they want, this WNBA and now the new league, which we will discuss on this show at some point, Unrivaled, which is 3-on-3, and we will take credit for it by way of ETP. We can say that we were the reasons, the innovators that Unrivaled exists. But there is a particular billboard in Chicago. See if I can bring it.
Seen it.
In this little weird city called Chicago. And this particular billboard, I think, shows where these brands and companies understand how to monetize duopolies. Here is the picture. Does that look familiar to you, sir?
Oh, is that one place? That's
157 East. It's not great, showing up great. But it's 157 West Chicago Avenue, to be exact. Heard of it? You know it?
I know it. I wonder if that's the one you can see from the highway. There's a big one that you can see from the highway.
There is a picture of Caitlin Clark in Chicago. Sorry. In Chicago. Right? Caitlin Clark in Chicago. Big billboard.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is where another particular player in the WNBA plays, Angel Reese, the duopoly. Mm-hmm. Is it good for the WNBA? Did Nike get it right by putting a billboard, life-size, bigger than life-size picture of Caitlin Clark in the center of Chicago, or is that going too far?
Nobody cares. It's Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. Period.
No way.
It's Caitlin Clark.
You can't say Caitlin Clark.
It's Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. They're all the pips, all of them.
No way.
When it comes to a marketing standpoint,
you gotta have the other party in the duopoly. And while Caitlin Clark is the favorite in that duopoly, Caitlin Clark gets discussed in places where she normally would not get discussed because people hate Angel Reese.
Caitlin Clark is a monopoly. She is the WNBA. Period. Nobody cared. Before Caitlin Clark, $50 million loss every year. 22 years to get it right. Loss. After Caitlin Clark, profitable. She's a monopoly. She should have that billboard in every city. Doesn't matter. Everyone has a problem with it. Shut up. You're wrong, and I'm right. Shut up. Every city. Everyone should agree with me because my opinion, my stance is the only stance when it comes to this. You're all wrong. Shut up.
Fair. Do you think that her impact on the bottom line improves if there are people out there like myself that think that Angel Reese and the arch nemesis and the good cop, bad cop is also a part of the lore that is Caitlin Clark?
No.
Does it improve her overall impact on the bottom line of the WNBA? Caitlin Clark needs Angel Reese Not because
Stop it.
she,
Don't say it again.
in terms of the basketball play, not in terms of her appeal, but the good cop, bad cop, the duopoly component of it increases the market share for everybody. It increases the market size for everybody. And then where the share is depends on who you are. For you, it sounds like you are
Angel Reese needs Caitlin Clark.
The Caitlin Clark side of that duopoly.
Angel Reese needs Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark needs none of them. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. If Angel Reese was on that billboard in Chicago, where she plays, many people would drive down.
Let's put it in Indianapolis.
Put it in Chicago.
Let's reverse roles.
Put it. No,
I don't think Nike would do it.
That's too easy. Put that billboard in Chicago with Angel Reese, and people drive by and say, "Who's that?" In Chicago.
No way.
In Chicago.
In Chicago, they don't know.
Unless you get a chance to see her eyes. You know how her eyes kind of. I don't think she's an unattractive person, but people try to say her eyes look like that one cartoon character. I think that's unfair. I think Angel Reese is a pretty young lady, but they have a little something.
You think it's so unfair that you repeated it?
If she's in triple threat, if Angel Reese is in triple threat, right, and you don't have a definitely profile, everyone's driving by. Who the fuck is that? They don't know who it is. Any way, any angle you show Caitlin Clark, they're gonna say it's her, and they assume it in any city around here. She is the WNBA. There's no question. She has no nemesis. What's her name? Angel Reese can keep trying to get popularity by claiming to be her nemesis and do whatever, but it's all bullshit. Nobody cares.
And she did. She took issue with that. She took issue with the billboard. Nike, I think Nike was a genius taking advantage, at least the concept of a duopoly and putting it in Chicago, right? They give the people what they want. People love controversy. People like a nemesis. They like a good cop, bad cop. They like a East versus West. We have been programmed to like it. The Lakers need the Celtics to be good and vice versa, right?
Who was Michael Jordan's nemesis?
West Coast. There's got to be
who was Michael Jordan's nemesis?
Well, according to the GOAT conversation, and that's what Charles Barkley ended up bringing up as well, he said just as lazy as the argument is for the GOAT, the conversation continues because there's two
I'm
sides
speaking
to that.
The alderman right now because you dodged that question. Who was Michael Jordan's nemesis?
Or during the time that he didn't have one. I'm talking about in the GOAT conversation he has one.
Nobody.
During the time he didn't have one.
You can't do the GOAT conversation is not what I'm talking about. So my point is Angel Reese is not the nemesis of Caitlin Clark, just like Jordan had no nemesis. So is there a city in the country that you could put a Michael Jordan?
The Detroit Pistons as a team.
As a team for two or three seasons, correct. But Isaiah Thomas wasn't his nemesis. It wasn't whatever. It was Michael Jordan in the NBA. When is he going to take over? So my point is, if you were in Detroit where people buy Jordans, you'll go and put your little Jordan poster. You put a Jordan billboard in Detroit, and people are still going to buy Jordans.
I hope that for the WNBA's sake,
there'll be Gators, but there'll be Jordans.
I hope for the WNBA's sake that does get some traction. I like Nike is the one sitting back laughing. That takes some real pettiness. I can imagine what that meeting looked like when they brought up the idea. We're going to get the most prominent space in Chicago, and we're going to put up a big old billboard of Caitlin Clark. I love that level.
It's genius because we're talking about it. Last time we talked about a billboard. We're talking about it.
We're talking about it. This has been a great show. We're going to end there. I don't know if you want a lightning round. You want to go out with something, but I'll give you the opportunity. Ball Hawk Spotlight moment, anything you want to go out with before we get out of here today.
Nah, pretty good. Pretty good. I don't have one at the tip of my tongue right now. I'm sure I'll remember as soon as we hit stop. But
as soon as that's normally I have. I'm going to add this one. There's a $10 million reward for information leading to the arrest of a former Olympic snowboarder for Canada. He's wanted for allegedly running a multinational drug trafficking network and orchestrating multiple murders related to the drug ring. FBI added Ryan Wedding, 43 years old, 10 most wanted list Thursday. I mean,
who said skiers are soft?
He's right. But
he's
the quote
he's from the streets of Aspen. What are you talking about?
This is why I wanted to go home with this
quote.
What
you talking about?
Wedding, the last name, went from shredding powder on the slopes at the Olympics, distributing powder
Fucking
cocaine on the
outrage.
streets of U.S. City and in his native Canada.
Now that's a
And
headline.
That's a headline.
That's
And
a headline.
the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. That's too entertaining not for me to share. I hope he and his family
What's his
are,
name?
you know, figuring it out. But I thought that was a good one to end
What's
on.
his
man.
name?
Top 10, Ryan Wedding. But top
Run,
10
Ryan,
most
run.
wanted list.
Run, Ryan, run.
Top 10 list,
Top
most
10 list.
wanted.
Most wanted. Most gangster
That's a
skier
way
alive.
to make sure that the anonymity of being an Olympic athlete, he has found a way to change the
Got
narrative.
Ski life tatted on his chest. He can't hold it.
Ski
Man.
life.
Ski
Okay,
life, baby. You better be
Um,
careful, man. We should get his picture. I'll make sure if I see him, I turn the other way, man. He's
Turn the other way, baby. This has been a great show, man. We try to provide a little bit of information outside of just sports, business, and entertainment. You learned the concept of duopoly today. You learned the concept of oligopoly today. And
all
you
the
learned a lot-
opolis.
oligopolies, and you learned a lot about sports, business, entertainment. You guys enjoy your weekend. I know that we are now in International Women's Month. That's why we saved the WNBA conversation for last. We went from Black History Month to International Women's Month.
Love
Whoever the women or woman, whoever the woman is in your life, or the women. Including family, make sure that you acknowledge International Women's Month.
love you, women. All y'all.
Thank y'all.
Happy Women's Month.
A lot of phenomenal accomplishments in this country by women, and we want to make sure we acknowledge that. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. This has been the experience known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We do it one way and one way only. That's rough, rugged, and raw. The businessman that you had before you today is none other than from the Middle Coast, that place, Chicago, the home of Chicago, the Beards. What are y'all? Whatever that place is. And the home of a new Caitlin Clark billboard from the Middle Coast. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Thou shall be intergalactically known as the Big Flow Show. And I'm your boy, B. Brown ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy, a.k.a. Coach Bobby, a.k.a. the Councilman, a.k.a.
You're doing too much. That's what you, a.k.a. doing too much. You got too many names. Doing too much.
Doing too much. You got to get people what they want. That's what you told me. AKA someone who is forever grateful and indebted to you all for continuing to tune in and supporting what we have going on. In advance, we thank you for liking, comment, sharing, tagging a friend, tagging a foe, and subscribing. And with that, Let's Play Duopoly is yours to keep. That's our episode. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Enjoy your weekend. We is out. Peace.